much of a desire to manage. Someday I might be forced to get back in the game, although I've had a couple of opportunities to manage. I can't say that I was anxious at all, but I might in the future. A man might be forced for financial reasons to get back into the game, but at the present time, I'm very happy to be in the position that I am.
Now, Ty, I'd like to know who you think is the greatest pitcher you ever batted against.
Well, of course, the greatest pitcher isn't necessarily the man that was the most effective to me. For some reason, luck or whatever you might call it, I was very fortunate in hitting some of the pitchers that I considered great. But I have had a great deal of trouble hitting pitchers that might not have such good averages. I'll name a couple. There was a pitcher by the name of Mogridge that was with Washington that troubled me quite a bit. There was a pitcher by the name of Wildman with St. Louis that troubled me a lot.
Who are the great pitchers apart from that time in your estimation?
The great pitchers are, I'll say, Cy Young, old Cy Young, Ed Walsh, Walter Johnson, Alexander, Christy Matheson, Eddie Plank, Bill Donovan, many others that I don't mean to leave out, but I just can't think of them at the present time.
Well, that's a big list at that.
Yeah.
Now, I'd like to know how you think the Athletics will make out this year.
Well, I think the Athletics will win, hands down, this year. They've won their first pennant, and they have developed a lot of confidence, and I think they'll be fighting for another pennant every inning of every game this coming season. They'll be mighty tough to beat.
Well, how do you figure the Cubs?
The Cubs ought to repeat. They're in the same position. They've made some improvements in their lineup. They've strengthened their lineup, and they haven't. I don't believe they'll have the opposition that the Athletics will have. I think they'll win just as easier than they won last year.
Yes. Well, I guess that's about what I wanted to know. Thanks, Ty, very much.
I do think that, as you know, baseball takes a man away from his family. He has to travel a great deal, live in the hotels, and after a while it gets rather monotonous and tiresome. And I'll have to admit that I haven't had one regret as to my retirement from baseball since I announced my retirement in 1928.
That's very interesting. Say, Ty, I also would like to get an idea of who you think is the greatest pitcher you ever batted against.
Well, I can only name 4 or 5 of the greatest, and I can't help but say that Young was one of the greatest pitchers that ever lived for the simple reason that he won in his career 508 ball games. Nowadays, when a man wins 20 games, he's supposed to have had a great season. Well, you can figure that out, that old Cy Young won 20 ball games for 25 years and 8 besides. Of course, we have other wonderful pitchers. We have Walter Johnson, Ed Walsh, Christy Matheson, Alexander, and many, many other pitchers. I don't want to forget Waddell and Plank, Pennant of the present day crowd, Bill Donovan, the wonderful pitcher in Detroit, Joe Wood, who was with Boston, and many others that I can't include at this time, but we've had some marvelous pitchers, but there's no one that's ever begin to touch Cy Young's record of winning 508 ball games. In fact, 508 ball games is more than a lot of the present-day pitchers pitch in their whole career.
Yeah. Well, another thing I wanted to learn from you, Ty, is how do you think of the American League race this year?
Well, I think the Athletics will repeat. They have a young club. They have a club that's just found themselves. They had a very strong club in 1927 and 8, but they didn't know just how good they were. They didn't have the confidence, but they had all the other qualities. Now they've found themselves, and I believe they'll run away with the race this year because, as a rule, a new club winning a pennant in such a decisive manner as the Athletics did last year, they ought to repeat very easily with the increased confidence and determination.
Do you think the Cubs will come back and win again?
I believe the Cubs will repeat.
Same reason?
Yes. They've had a taste of success, and now they'll be hard to beat. Every game and every inning of the season of 1930, they'll be tough to beat.
Who do you think will give them the opposition this
The
year?
Cubs?
Yeah.
Well, of course, you can't figure New York out of any pennant race. Then there's Pittsburgh. There's St. Louis Nationals. And don't forget my old friend Dan Howley in Cincinnati. He'll make things look up, and he'll give them some trouble. And it wouldn't surprise me to see him finish even as good as third.
Well, that gives me a good story, Ty. Thanks. That's what I wanted to get at. Thank you.
How are you?
Ty, how does it feel to be down here in Georgia hunting instead of training in a ball camp?
Well, I'll tell you, after playing ball for 25 years, and since I was a kid, say 17 years of age, having to follow a long schedule, having every day of the season scheduled ahead of time, no matter what you'd like to do, otherwise in baseball, you had to keep that schedule. And there's a lot of things all during my career that I have wanted to do. I've wanted a lot of hunting. I've wanted a lot of fishing. I've wanted to travel. Although I don't want to say that I will never play again. I'll take that back. I never want to play again. But I might want to be connected in some capacity.
You still
For
have a
instance,
love
the
for it.
directorship of a club, the presidency of a club. Now, you take all the ball players. There's a great many of them that seem to like to hunt. I think it's an indication that the hardships of the game really appeal, really palls on them, and they want to get out and hunt and get the relaxation. I think we're all about the same. Now, you take